time to make jam. This is the first time I'm doing this. It's actually the first time I'm making jam. So, disclaimer. Hopefully it all works out. But there aren't actually that many recipes online. I found one or two. There aren't that many videos either. So we're going to see how this all goes. But the first step was to take the pods I collected the other morning before they got wet. And I had already pre-selected, made sure they were good pods, but you sometimes miss little ant holes or little sections that don't look good. So I made sure to split them up. And while I was doing that, take any little bits out that didn't look good. And I measured out 6 cups of broken up mesquite pods. We'll see how much that makes. Put that in this pot after I rinsed them a bit, just to get any dirt or loose debris off. And then I covered the mesquite pods with a few inches of water. So that ended up being 8 cups of water. Just writing it all down because I can't find actual measurements. I know I'm gonna need 3 cups of mesquite juice in order to make my jam. So I'm gonna bring this up to a boil, let it boil for 5 minutes, and then let it steep for 30. And then I will have mesquite juice, and I'll be ready to start making jam. It's only the ones that come off the tree easy that you're supposed to take. You need to wait till the mesquites have dried, the pods have dried up. In fact, if you listen, I don't know if you can hear that. You can hear the seeds moving, kind of like a little maraca. So that's how you know they're getting ready. The other way you know they're ready is if they come right off the tree. So this one's not shaking yet. You can't hear it, and it won't come off when I just touch it. Some of these are making the noise, like this one's making the noise, but it won't come off when I pull. So I'm not going to harvest that one yet. That's how you make sure that they're sweet. The other way you make sure you have good pods is that you taste them. When I'm inspecting the beans, I'm looking to make sure there's no mold and that there's minimal holes, because the ants like these too. So if I find just one hole, I'll just break that section off. But if it's full of holes, I'm not going to use the pod. You can break it. It should just snap, not bend. And then taste it to make sure that it's sweet and not bitter or chalky or anything. There are seeds in this that will break your teeth, so you don't want to really chew on it, just enough to really taste it. This part right here, that's really hard. That can break your teeth, so you don't want to break your teeth. I realized my pot was not quite big enough for canning, so luckily we have awesome neighbors up the hill. They actually have YouTube too, so Rogue Preparedness, we'll make sure to link to them. I was actually out harvesting mesquite pods with Morgan a couple days ago, and they had a canning pot. So we went up and got that so that now I can make more jam. So I boiled mesquite pods in their water for 5 minutes and then let them steep for 30. That made just over 6 cups of juice, which is 2 batches of jam, which is really exciting. And now I have a bigger canner. I think I can do both of them. So that was 8 cups of water and 6 cups of mesquite pods. Now I get to taste the juice because I have no idea what it's going to taste like. Just a little tiny bit. It smells sweet because the mesquites are sweet. It doesn't have a huge amount of flavor. You can definitely tell it's kind of like this mesquite smoky sweetness. I think a lot of the flavor is going to be really added from the sugar, but it's good. So the recipe I found calls for 4 ingredients: the mesquite juice, which we made, lemon juice, shore gel for the pectin to actually make it firm up, and sugar. And since I doubled the batch, it was a lot of sugar. But I'll link to the recipe I found. But like I said, don't know how it's going to turn out yet. It's like pale. And leave a quarter inch So that's a 1/4 inch headroom. This is a jar lifter in case you didn't know. 1/4 inch headroom, which is a little bit of air left at the top. And then the seals, which I've been keeping sterilized and warm in that pot. And then hand tighten the ring. And then it goes back into the pot. But all this water's coming out of this guy too. Need to get that back up to a rolling boil and then boil it. So the recipe says 10 minutes, but we are at 4,500 feet. And since I don't know at what altitude this recipe was written for, I'm going to assume it was sea level, like most are, and add time like you have to based on your altitude. So for us, that means adding additional 10 minutes. So once this comes to a boil, I'll be boiling it for 20 minutes. Very, very liquidy, but I'm guessing it'll firm up once it cools. So now we let them cool. Hopefully firm up, hopefully seal. We should be hearing lots of popping noises here soon. And we let them sit for about 24 hours without moving them. And then we see what has sealed, and hopefully that's all of them. We'll find out.
Hi, Pen.
You might notice it's not quite the consistency of jam, but it's delicious. Pretty much made mesquite syrup, which I'm looking forward to try making in like cocktails and maybe also putting on pancakes. Why did it not set as jam? Good question. There's not very many. Thank you for drinking, Penny.
Great timing, dog.
Why did it not set as jam? I don't know for sure. Penny.
Penny. Hi. You're making noise.
I need to pick it up. I'm gonna do it again as soon as I start talking.
Yes, you probably will. Oh, there she
Let's
goes.
just wait until she's
All right.
done.
Let's wait. We got this. Wait.
Okay. Ready? So why did this not set as jam? That's a good question. I don't know for sure. There aren't very many recipes online on even how to make this, so I don't know how good the recipe is, except that it tastes good. Also, elevation. We're at 4,500 feet, so I did take that into account in terms of like cooking it for longer and everything, but it didn't set. I may remake some of it into jam later, we'll see, but for now I'm happy with the syrup and all of our cans set, so it's nice and secure at least for a little while. So I would call that a moderate success. I think the syrup's gonna be fun to have, and I'll just have to play with maybe adding more pectin or figure that out for the next batch for when I wanna make jam.